there certainly have been times in my life, in my business career, where it really did feel like everything was going wrong. It may be a cycle or it may be chapters of our life that we end up feeling that way. But yeah, definitely had those experiences in the past.
Yep, me too. I've had a lot of rock bottom moments where it felt like everything was going wrong. And then when I would pull myself out of it and think, okay, I'm going to do whatever, some sort of a different method or a different course of action. And I'd think, okay, this is it. And then I would do it. And then that would go wrong. And those times when it was like there was nothing that was working, paralyzing.
Feeling like you get into these places where anything that you're trying doesn't seem to be working. And it just felt like, okay, I'm going to be in this and it's going to take me days, weeks, months crawl back out of this.
If you get out of it at all.
Yeah.
As we're looking at the things that are going wrong, we don't have access to our cognitive thinking to be able to see solutions or see other options or see things differently at all. The brain hyper-focuses on the so-called danger and ignores everything else.
Whenever I felt like things were going wrong, for me, that go-to response was to freeze up. I can't think, I can't move, I don't know how to move forward in this moment.
The stress chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol that create that fight, freeze, flight emergency state are stronger than feel-good chemicals. So the effects on the brain and body of those chemicals, because they're designed for survival, because it's more important to focus on the wild animal that's going to attack us than on the pretty flowers, it means that while we are feeling those negative emotions, and of course, the longer we've been feeling those negative emotions, the more intense it is because those chemicals have been in our system longer, so they've had a stronger effect. It can be very difficult to pull ourselves out of it. When things start to go wrong, remind yourself like you would a friend. So think of it as you have a friend who's saying, you know what, everything is going wrong. And whatever you're experiencing, imagine your friend is experiencing that and telling you about it and telling you how they're feeling. And they're feeling this, you know, what you're feeling. And then ask yourself, what would I say to that person to reassure them or to remind them that just because we can't see a solution doesn't mean there isn't one. The original roots for those patterns, for that pattern of everything's going wrong, and I can't tell you how familiar I am with that recurring pattern for most of my life up until like 8 years ago. And the original root of those patterns will be in the unconscious part of the brain, your self-image and worldview. And that self-image and worldview is what everything you're experiencing now is based on. And the great news is that that can be changed. And that's how we changed our experiences so that now it's not a case of everything's going wrong. We don't have that recurring pattern. We're able to see things differently because we changed those original unconscious references that were causing that in the first place.
Yeah, that is the bigger topic here. And we would like to invite you to a masterclass that we have that'll break that open a little bit more, explain that understanding a little bit more and how you can start to do some of that work for yourself to make some of those changes.
That free masterclass, as Steve says, will go into the details of how your self-image and worldview were created in your brain. It's a physical structure in your brain. And most importantly, how it can be changed, how you can change it the way we changed ours.